Hey everyone, I'm back with another fragrance testing video. My go-to place to get my samples is Oz Fragrances, and I picked up some more samples obviously for myself. Just some more hyped up fragrances that I want to test. A lot of these I have actually already tested because obviously I've only got limited space on my skin to actually spray and test unless I spray it on test strips. And I'm not a big fan of using test strips because the smell is so different. So I prefer to actually spray on skin. So in order to give you a more accurate video and opinion, I did test some of these first already, but only once. So I've only tried these once, so I can still give you basically my first impressions of these fragrances so you know what I think. I know you're still going to want to see me test some of these for the first time, so what I did was I kept the fragrances that I think you want to see me react to. So my reaction is going to be genuine and first impressions literally. We'll start off here with some fragrances. As you can see, I've got about 4 packs of 4 in here, and I have tested like the majority of them, but we'll start off with Dior Fahrenheit Parfum, because I know you really like to talk about Dior Fahrenheit a lot, and I just chose to go with the Parfum version because people were saying the Parfum's the best, so I got the Parfum version anyway. Dior Fahrenheit Parfum. This is actually going to be the first time I've ever smelled this. I haven't smelled this yet, and I'll basically do all the ones I haven't smelled yet at the start of the video because then you don't have to skip to like the end, but let's give it a smell. So I can't smell anything yet, but I've heard this smells like gasoline or something like that, which should be very interesting. It sounds interesting based on all the reviews I get, all the reviews I've heard, sorry. Yeah, so already the smell I get is very animalic at the opening. It smells a lot like Bentley for Men Intense from the very first spray. I really hate Bentley for Men Intense, so as you know, I don't like opening this already. It doesn't smell good to me. It doesn't smell like gasoline, it smells more like stale vanilla or stale alcohol or leathery or something like that. Bentley for Men's got this really stale alcohol smell, like someone spilled rum or something over themselves and then it's been left there too long and it just starts to go a bit sour, like a soured alcohol stale smell. And that's what I'm getting from here, is like a very boozy, almost like stale vanilla. I don't like it. It could be leather, sometimes leather smells like this, but to me it's quite animalic. I get this animalic smell in here as well, like a bit musky. I don't like this, guys, so I don't think Dior Fahrenheit Parfum lives up to the hype at all. It's not my cup of tea, and I don't think women are gonna like this either. I really don't like it. But let's look at the reviews anyway. I may as well, I'll check the notes because I don't really know what's in here. The smell is like a leathery, boozy vanilla with some musk in it. Maybe ambergris or something like that, something animalic. It doesn't smell like gasoline though, I can tell you that. Because sometimes I like the smell of gasoline. Like when you're working on your car or your motorcycle, I don't mind the smell of that, but this is really weird. Okay, that explains it. So there was vanilla and rum. I'm guessing that leathery smell is suede, so I was kind of right actually. It does smell boozy, vanilla-y and leathery. But there's cumin in here apparently and licorice. Ironically, I don't like licorice either, so this fragrance is a big no for me. It's pretty bad, honestly. It's a Bentley for Men kind of clone. Like it's like Bentley for Men is probably a clone of this. I don't know what clone what, but they smell the same to me. Yeah, not a fan of this already, so I'm not going to give that a very good score. I'll give that like a 3 out of 10 or a 4. Next would be Creed Virgin Island Water. I've also heard a lot of good things about Virgin Island Water. Besides Creed Aventus, I think Virgin Island Water is probably their second most hyped fragrance they have. So you have Aventus, then Virgin Island Water, and then people will probably hype up Royal Oud and Millesime Imperial, Original Santal or something like that by Creed. So this is definitely probably the second most hyped Creed fragrance, so that's why I personally got it. And yeah, I haven't tested this yet. But just to show you, it is Virgin Islands water. So let's give this a test. I've been excited to test this, so I just wanted to make the video straight away because I actually just can't wait any longer to try all these fragrances. So I'm pretty excited to try this, and I'll be disappointed if it doesn't smell good. Because from my experience, I have actually tried 2 Creed fragrances already, and I like them both. Actually, no, I tried 3. I tried Silver Mountain Water as well. I didn't like Silver Mountain Water, but I like Royal Oud and Ventus. Okay. So this is floral, like very white floral in the opening. Yeah, it's quite feminine. It's like a feminine floral, a little bit creamy, fresh, even a little bit citrusy. I'm not sure what florals are in there, but it does smell very white floral or something like, yeah, it's like like a very feminine floral smell. I'm not gonna say exactly what floral it is because there's so many different white florals. It's pretty hard to narrow it down to one. If I had to guess, I'll probably say something like lily or lotus or yeah, it's weird. It doesn't smell like jasmine to me. It smells more like one of the stronger florals, like the stronger, girlier, more feminine floral. So I'm not 100% sure. It's something along the lines of like that. But I can smell coconut in here. I get that's probably what's creamy in there is some coconut. Yeah, like a coconut and lily. I'm not even sure if it's a lily, but that's kind of like, it could be like a combination of different florals. So sometimes when you put 2 florals together, it just creates this weird smell. So you could combine like jasmine with like lily of the valley, or you could combine jasmine with something like gardenia or freesia or something like that, and then you wouldn't smell the jasmine exactly. It would smell a bit different. So that could be what they've done here. I'm not sure what else is in here, honestly. This kind of does smell like Aqua Universalis by MFK, Mason Francis Kurkdjian. It gives me that Aqua Universalis smell, and I know there is I'm pretty sure jasmine in that fragrance, so that it could be jasmine, just because I'm getting that Aqua Universalis smell. I'm gonna check the notes, give me a second. Oh, okay. So, coconut, lime, bergamot, mandarin, ginger, ylang ylang, jasmine, hibiscus, white rum, sugar and musk. Okay, so you get lime and coconut. That's definitely the opening, and the ylang ylang. And so I'm gonna say it's probably the ylang ylang with jasmine. I don't think it's hibiscus I can smell. I'm pretty sure it's ylang ylang. That's the floral smell in here. I like it. I think this is really nice, but I think it would be good on a female. It's not a manly scent to me. It's more of a girl's scent. And rum, I don't get any rum in here, so that matters. Yeah, I like it. I mean, Creed, I've smelled better from Creed, but I like this. It is like on a girl, it would be great on a woman. Just like Aqua Universalis as well. So if you don't really like the coconut in here, you could go for something like Aqua Universalis, which is more like a fresher, less creamy version, I guess. Next, we have, there's quite a few in here that I haven't tried. There is Aqua di Gio EDP. There's Xerjoff Naxos. There's Impact Intense by Tommy Hilfiger. And I've only got 2 wrists left that I haven't sprayed. So I'll do 2 and then I'll take a break and I'll come back after I wash my hands so I have more room to spray on my skin. That's what we'll do. I think we'll go with Naxos first, because you always talk about Naxos by Xerjoff. So you're probably going to want to see Naxos over the others. So let's try it. This I'll spray on the wrist, because the last one was on top of the hand. I'll go wrist this time. And A lot came out that time. This has for a little bottle, this has a pretty good atomizer on it. Wow, okay, that's strong. This has a very makeup smell to it. There must be, surely that's got to be iris or something in here. That smells a lot like makeup, and that makeup smell is usually iris. It's weird, it's a little bit like Dior Homme Intense, but different. There's a difference in here that is not exactly the same. It's a little bit sweet, powdery, makeup-y. It's got that makeup powdery smell, but there's sweetness. I get wood, something woody, or actually, hang on. It might be chocolate. It might be chocolate or Coke or cacao or something. No, hang on. Sandalwood. I'm pretty sure that's sandalwood. So I get like iris and sandalwood, something sweet in here. Now, what's the sweetness? The sweetness surely has to be like some kind of along the lines of vanilla or tonka or something like that. It's got to have something sweet in here. Maybe sugar. That cacao smell I was talking about could be like myrrh or something. Sometimes myrrh gives it that bitter cacao smell. That's a little sweet resonance. But after smelling it, I'm not 100% sure. I think it's probably not cacao or myrrh. I'm pretty sure it's just that iris note in here that's giving it that makeup smell, and it's just kind of overpowering the other notes. So this is something you'd probably want to let dry down for a little bit. I think I know what it is. It's honey. It's definitely that. Hang on. Let me get some air to this. I'll air it out a bit. Yeah, it smells like honey and tobacco. That's what it is now. Honey, tobacco, sandalwood, iris. Honey, tobacco, sandalwood, and iris is what I can smell. So I haven't looked at the notes, and if I'm wrong, well, that's embarrassing, but that's what I smell. You know, it's always first impressions, and I haven't really let it dry down because I wanted this video to be quick. So that's the opening I get, is like a very honey, sandalwood, tobacco smell. I could be wrong about the honey though. I'm just going with honey because it has that slightly sugary but bitter sweetness in there, which honey sometimes has that. It kind of, I don't like honey in fragrances that much. So let's take a look at this. Naxos. I've heard a lot of people talk about Naxos a lot. Anyway, yeah, the notes say honey and tobacco and vanilla. That was just purely a guess. I had no idea there was honey and tobacco in here. That's what I could smell. You could see me kind of like trying to think what that smell was. Obviously I was wrong about the chocolate. There's no cacao in here, but there is vanilla and tonka. I'm assuming the powderiness I was getting is, it might be cashmerean or something. The cashmerean is probably what gave it that irisy smell. But it does say there is jasmine and lavender. So maybe the jasmine, lavender, and cashmerean is doing something weird to my nose here. But I can say as it dries down, I don't get the iris anymore. I can't smell iris anymore. That was just purely the opening. But it is powdery. To me, I get this like little bit slightly powdery. And you know, tonka can be a little powdery in fragrances, a little bit like that. This is a bit, it's a very sweet fragrance that kind of smells a little bit like Pure Havane by Mugler. But it's better than Pure Havane because this has like a freshness to it from the citrus and something a little floral in here. Yeah, it's a nice fragrance and everything, but it is very overrated. It doesn't live up to the hype. It's not something I would wear. But I'm gonna say tobacco scents are something that I'm kind of like, it's an acquired taste to me. I'm understanding them now. I do understand them. I understand there's a niche kind of, there is a market for tobacco fragrances. People love them. I'm not really in that kind of niche market yet. I mean, I've smelled quite a lot of tobacco fragrances now, and I do think this is one of the better ones. So yeah, Naxos, I understand it. I don't hate this. I don't think it smells bad. It's just, it's not a wow fragrance for me at all. So next we'll go with another one you've been wanting me to try. It's Acqua di Gio EDP. Acqua di Gio EDP. I had to obviously buy some new fragrances because I can't just review all old fragrances. I had to buy some new ones to kind of stay relevant with what the times, and you got to keep up with the times and everything. So let's try a new fragrance. It's Acqua di Gio. Before I actually try this, I'm gonna say I do not like Acqua di Gio, any of the other flankers. I don't like Acqua di Gio. I think it's overrated and basic, and I'm actually not even a fan of Profumo either because of the herbal green rosemary in there. I think it's just too herbal, and I don't really get the hype with Acqua di Gio at all. So it'll be interesting. I'm going to go into this with low expectations, kind of expecting to hate this one. Well, not hate it, but not love it. Acqua di Gio has very high quality most of the time. The smell, they all smell the same to me. I think out of the Acqua di Gios I've smelled, they were all very similar, like barely any difference at all between the three of them. So it'll be interesting to try the EDP. Yeah, okay, this is easily the best Acqua di Gio I've smelled so far. It's very fresh. It's very fresh, but there is a sweetness in here too. I kind of like, I'm not sure what that sweetness is. It could just be because I went from smelling a tobacco fragrance to this, it makes this smell better, but it is your typical Acqua di Gio DNA. It's that salty, kind of aquatic, citrusy opening with a little bit of a woodiness to it. There is a little bit of a woody vibe in there. But it's basic, it's very basic. As usual, Acqua di Gio, you can't expect anything really that exciting out of it. The quality is high, it's a very high quality fragrance. Ingredients smell natural, and that's what Acqua di Gio is. The problem with Profumo and Profondo was the green kind of rosemary or juniper, whatever was in there. I think it was a little bit too sharp for me, and this, I'm not really getting it in here. I don't really get as much, I should say. I do get it a little bit, but it's not as sharp again. So this is already like a little bit more toned down a little bit. I feel like this has toned down that greenness a lot. It's amped up the freshness, but I do think it basically smells like all the other Acqua di Gio to me, but better. So all the things I didn't really like about the other Acqua di Gio, this is kind of like improved upon the fragrance by making those things less noticeable in my opinion. So they're still there, it's still got the original DNA and everything. I'm going to check the notes, but I do think this is the best Acqua di Gio so far. It says that it's got sea notes, mandarin, sage, geranium, lavender, mineral notes, vetiver, patchouli. So actually, according to the notes, they've taken that greenness out completely. They've taken the juniper out, or the rosemary out of this, just based off the notes. So that's probably why it smells less green actually, because apparently they've taken it out. Even though I think Fragrantica just tried to be sneaky by not listing it, I definitely do smell it in here though. I kind of do smell that woody greenness still. That's typical to the Acqua di Gio line. But it's not listed on there, so maybe they did take it out. Maybe it's just the vetiver or something that's doing that. Mineral notes, I don't really smell mineral notes. What mineral would that be, like metallic or something? Generally mineral notes is like a metallic smell. Okay, to me, it's just your typical Acqua di Gio that's more mass appealing and more basic than all the others. So this is going to be the most basic one yet, but less is more. I say less is more, and I do like the less green, the more aquatic, more mass appealing kind of smell they've got here. Overall, yeah, the best Acqua di Gio for me. I do own Profondo, and I would wear this over Profondo, honestly. I do think it's better. Actually, you know what? I'll see if I can make some more room on my arm somewhere, and we'll get these other fragrances kind of like tested as well. So next is Tommy Hilfiger Impact Intense. Impact Intense, Tommy Hilfiger. I'm a little bit concerned about this one because it's supposed to smell like Layton by Parfums de Marly, and I'm not a fan of Layton, so I only bought this purely because of the hype, and I just wanted to compare them myself because I have smelled Layton, so I may as well smell this and give my 2 cents on it. We'll see. Ooh. So it's very alcoholic enough. It's very, what I should have said was the opening has a very sharp alcohol smell, like the aldehydes or something in there. It's just, yeah. So as with all perfume, that you can't smell it. You have to let it air out because that alcohol's gonna hit your nose and be like, wow, big strong. No, it doesn't smell like Layton. It smells like wood. Yeah, well, it's got that boozy smell like Bentley for Men Intense, which I do not like. And I'm just not sure if the smell is like, if it's cross-contaminating because I sprayed them so close to each other. I swear, there's like a boozy smell in here, like a vanilla, which it could be stale vanilla or it could be rum. And then I get sandalwood, stale vanilla, rum or something. It might not be rum actually, it could just be the vanilla in there. It's a bit old smelling, a little bit old, dusty, mature. Who is smelling this and thinking that smells like Layton? Like, who are you people that think that? Like, I think Layton actually smells better, honestly. I think Layton is more, the sandalwood smells better and the vanilla smells better in Layton. Like, it's a creamier sandalwood, it's a creamier vanilla with a more sharp, prominent, screechy sandalwood. So Layton has this very loud, screechy sandalwood that's kind of like a little bit scratchy. It's like so loud, a bit punchy, and it can be overwhelming. But the dry down on Layton has this like a quite nice vanilla that when it dries down and everything, it goes really well with the sandalwood. G'day everyone, I'm back again. So my camera had just cut out. But don't worry, I remember where I was up to, what I was talking about last. We were talking about Impact Intense. So I did say it had a rum smell to it. So since I charged my camera and all that, I looked at the notes. So the notes were, I believe, chestnut and apple and alimi resin with some cardamom and some woods in there. So that's what was giving it that rum smell, was the chestnut with the apple and the alimi resin. The apple in here is not very good. I don't like the apple smell at all. It's not like the kind of apple that I like to smell in a fragrance like Greenleaf or Nordica Voyage or Jaguar Excellence. A Jaguar Classic Black, I believe. So like they have more of an apple smell. This is more a very sweet. They're not really sweet. I'd say the apple in here only adds a little bit of sourness to the chestnut and wood with the alimi resin. So it does have a resinous chestnut smell, which is hard to explain, but it smells like, it ends up smelling a little bit like rum or something like that. I would say it's not very similar to Layton at all. And even though it's got chestnut, it's not similar to Stronger With You either. You probably would think it's got chestnut in it, and it's like similar to Stronger With You, absolutely, or whatever, but no, it's not. It's kind of its own fragrance where it just doesn't smell that good to me. I ended up having to wash the fragrances off my skin, so we'll talk about that. While I was gone, I washed the fragrances off my skin. I can still smell some of the fragrances on my skin. So Creed Virgin Island Water, can still smell it after washing it off with soap and all that. And Xerjoff Naxos, I could also smell after washing it off. And same with Fahrenheit. So these obviously do stay on skin for a very long time, even after washing them. But I got rid of that. I ended up washing my hands a few times, so I got rid of the smell so I could keep testing. Although, I just want to quickly come back to Aqua di Gio EDP, because I said it smells the same as all the other Aqua di Gio, and now I kind of smelt it a bit more, and I think it's closer to Bulgari Aqua Atlantic. It actually ends up smelling more marine now, so it smells like, yeah, salty marine, more like Bulgari. You know how Bulgari have their Aqua line or whatever, it smells like that. So I actually am a fan of the Bulgari Aqua line, especially Aqua Atlantic, and that's what the Aqua di Gio EDP smells like to me. So yes, I do like Aqua di Gio EDP, which is a surprise for me because I'm not really a big fan of Aqua di Gio in general. So we'll continue on with these reviews. So next we'll go to the Creed Aventus clone called Club de Nuit Intense Man. It's probably one of the most talked about fragrances of all time. Everyone talks about this stuff. So Armaf, Club de Nuit Intense Man, or CD NIM, whatever people call it. CD NIM. It's like the acronyms, they just use they spell it out in acronyms or whatever. So this is supposed to be a Creed Aventus clone, and let's test that out. Because I love Creed Aventus. I don't think the clones are as good as Aventus, but we'll see. And I purposely didn't test this one until right now because I know you're all gonna want to see my reaction to this because it's so popular. So this is my first reaction. And you know what? It smells great. It really does. I thought because it was so hyped and people were saying, but the pineapple opening isn't as good. This is just like Mont Blanc Explorer though. I think this is closer to like a Mont Blanc Explorer, but even Mont Blanc Explorer smells a lot like Aventus. This is like really in the same category. Like it's definitely a clone for sure. But yeah, if you're wondering if it smells like Aventus, yes it does, and I do think it is a really good clone of Aventus. You get your citrus, I don't even know if it's got pineapple, I haven't checked the notes yet, but I'm gonna say citrus, wood, smoky, it's got that birch smokiness, it's got the ambroxan, it's got that sharpness, the sweetness, the sourness, the freshness, the woodiness, all the things you would get in Aventus, it's got that. Maybe not the pineapple, it doesn't smell like pineapple to me. I would still say Aventus is better just because that pineapple opening, it actually smells like pineapple. And I'm really getting really citrus in the opening of this. But my god, it is a lovely scent, and Aventus is always going to be controversial, just like all its clones are going to be controversial. It's like you have 50% of people that like it, 50% of people that don't like it. So it's a very divisive kind of smell, but I love Aventus. I'm one of those people that, yes, I'm a fan of Aventus. I would never buy Aventus because it costs so much money. I have Mont Blanc Explorer, so I don't need to buy this. But yeah, I'm happy with Mont Blanc Explorer. I don't need Club de Nuit Intense Man. I don't need Mancera, Cedra, Rosé. I don't need Mercedes-Benz Select or Al Haramain, La Aventura, whatever it is. Pleasantly surprised by this day. I don't know what else I was expecting from a Creed Aventus clone, but it smells like just about all the other clones I smell. I might as well check the notes anyway. So, lemon, pineapple, bergamot, blackcurrant, apple, birch, jasmine, rose, musk, yeah. So it's your typical Creed Aventus note breakdown. Birch, pineapple, blackcurrant, yeah, that's pretty much Aventus. But you know what, I never really smelt blackcurrant in these fragrances. I've never really smelt it. Pineapple, I can smell pineapple in Aventus. I can't smell the pineapple in this, honestly. But you do really need to smell the pineapple? No, not really. Although I would like to smell it. I do smell pineapple in Nishane Hachivat, or Hachivat by Nishane. I do end up smelling pineapple in there, but the pineapple is completely different in like Hachivat. It's more creamy, where I like the fresher pineapple like Aventus has. It doesn't matter too much. Yeah, it is nice. I mean, I rate this. I would wear it. If I didn't have Mont Blanc Explorer, I would probably buy it. So I do think it lives up to the hype though, honestly. I never thought it would live up to the hype, but it is. It is a good clone, honestly. I don't get any problems with the opening like some people say, but I do hear people say you should layer like, I think it's called Demeter pineapple. There's a fragrance called like Demeter pineapple or something, and it's just basically pineapple in a bottle. Use that for layering with Club de Nuit. Okay, next we have another hyped beast, which is by Lalique. It's Encre Noir a la Extreme, or a la Extreme Encre Noir. So I'll put the name on screen. But basically it is Encre Noir a la Extreme. Alrighty, so let's test this bad boy, shall we? So we'll just say something about the original Encre Noir, which I thought was very inky. I thought it had like a formic acid kind of squashed ant smell to it. But besides that, it was very woody, smoky, very subjective, divisive scent that's not for everyone. I think it's that inky smell that I didn't really like too much. And a lot of people did say this is the better version, so we'll see. So this is again very woody, woody, smoky, dirty, woody, smoky, dirty. I mean, it smells just like the original Encre Noir. I don't get too much of a difference. It's just a little bit lighter. I don't smell any difference besides this is like watered down version of the original with maybe less inkiness. So the inkiness isn't as strong in this, but it does have that woody, oody smell, and it's gonna be great for layering. I could say that Encre Noir is a great layering scent. If you want to add that woody smokiness to a fragrance, you could layer it, and that's the only reason why I do appreciate this. Otherwise, I'd never wear it. I don't think it's a good scent. So I'll check the notes for you, but I'm going to say it's probably a bunch of different types of wood, and then it's probably got maybe something that's making it a little bit more fresh in there. I don't know what, but it's basically just a sweet scent. So the notes in it, it's got vetiver, incense, orris, benzoin, sandalwood, cypress, halloumi resin, and yeah, it's got bergamot. So bergamot is probably what's making it more fresh. I thought it would have different types of wood, but there's only sandalwood in here, which sandalwood, I've said in other videos, does have an oud kind of smell to it. Cypress, I don't really get much cypress in here. Usually cypress is more like a terra firmes kind of, or a juniper kind of smell. Orris, I don't get any orris. Yeah, I'm pretty sure orris is iris root, so it doesn't smell anything like iris. Incense, obviously that's what makes it smoky, so yes. Smoky wood, you do get that. And yeah, there's definitely the benzoin, halloumi resin, that's where that resinous sweetness comes from in this fragrance. Even though it's not that sweet, it is very resinous, woody, balsamic, smoky, woody, yeah. I would rate that probably just like the same as the original Encre Noir. I didn't even think it was necessary to make a flanker because they're just the same to me. Nothing special. Okay, next one I'll try would be Gucci Guilty Absolute. Another hype beast. Haven't tried it yet, and I'm gonna save it for you guys right now and we'll test it. Gucci Guilty Absolute. So I have already checked reviews about this before, and I've heard this is like the Band-Aid fragrance that smells like Band-Aids apparently. I do know what Band-Aid smells like because I've smelt it in multiple fragrances already, like Oud Lemon Mint by Mancera. I've smelt it in Lalique Pour Homme, and recently I think it was Dunhill Icon or something. It did have a Band-Aid smell to it, so I know that smell. I can see what people are talking about. I can already smell it through the bottle. I almost don't want to spray this on my skin. Ooh. Yeah, it smells very medicinal, definitely, but it also smells like burnt rubber or like shoes. The rubber on the bottom of your shoes, or like a car tire. Again, it has that very leathery, animalic, woody smell. It is woody. It's very leathery. It's very rubbery. Leather tends to smell like rubber, and this definitely has that rubbery leather to it. If this doesn't have leather in the notes, I'll be surprised. I'll be honestly surprised. medicinal. The medicinal smell. I've noticed the medicinal smell is generally either one of two things. It's either oud or it's iris. Generally oud or iris, or they've done something weird with like sandalwood where they've made the sandalwood kind of smell medicinal by adding like leather and like bergamot or something to it. So I'm gonna check the notes. I'll give you my prediction of the notes right now. I'm gonna say leather, either oud or sandalwood, or probably guaiac wood or something like that. Maybe guaiac wood, agar wood, some kind of deep wood. There's a deep wood in here that's very strong. Maybe frankincense actually. It could be frankincense because it does have that very old dusty smell. Frankincense is kind of like that. Very old, like an attic. Someone's attic, their roof, maybe you climbed into someone's roof. Had that dusty, woody smell. Yeah. Band-aids and burnt car tires. Band-aids and burnt car tires, that's what it is. I know people love this scent. It's very unique, I'll give it that. It's a very unique scent. That's definitely, I see why people like it. So yeah, the notes are leather, cypress, patchouli, vetiver, and it just says woody notes. But yeah, I can go a step further and say it's probably like sandalwood, guaiac wood, or agar wood or something like that, or akagali wood, whatever that type of wood is. I would also say it smells like it has frankincense in it or something like that as well, even though it's not listed on the notes. There's probably something like that in there. So the note breakdown is very simple. It's just mainly leather, mainly wood. And that's exactly what I could pretty much smell. Mainly wood, mainly leather. It is animalic though, very animalic, medicinal. I was expecting it to be like oud or iris in there because of that medicinal smell. So God knows what that medicinal smell is. It's probably oud. It's probably most likely oud. Just from experience of smelling notes, that's generally what oud does to a fragrance, is gives it a medicinal smell. Like, it could be that fake oud they use, like oud. Me and Sarah have their own fake oud they use, so it could be that. I'm not impressed so far by a lot of these fragrances. But we got more. This is just like one box I've gone through, and there's still plenty more in the box that I'm still saving. So like I'll review after I've done all the first impressions, and then I'll go into the other ones. So this box, I'm pretty sure only has a couple in there I haven't tested. Yeah, so Scandal, there's Jean Paul Gaultier Scandal. May as well test that right now. Scandal by Jean Paul Gaultier. Again, I've heard a lot of things about this, very mixed reviews. It's either liked or hated. It's supposed to be very sweet, and that's all. I've heard it has like myrrh or something. I've heard it has myrrh in there, so we'll see. I don't really know what myrrh smells like on its own, but I find myrrh to kind of be like a very old churchy kind of smell, like a churchy, dusty smell that kind of ruins fragrances for me. I think I've run out of places on my skin to spray this. Okay, well, okay, I'm gonna have to spray it on my arm or something. I've run out of space. That's alright. I don't hate this. You know, I don't hate it. I like that. That's a very familiar smell to me. That's like something I've smelled before, but I can't put my nose on exactly what it is. It is like a candy. Ooh, it's like a candy sweetness. Maybe something I've smelled, Rouge or something like that. It's got that Baccarat Rouge 540 kind of candy sweetness in there. I wasn't expecting it to be fresh either. There is some freshness in here. Like it's not just sweet. It's like something that's making it a little fresh, like bergamot. No, not bergamot. Like ooh, I think it's like something floral or something like Ultra Male. You know, Ultra Male has that pear opening. There's an opening of pear in Ultra Male. This is by Jean Paul Gaultier, so they could have used pear in the opening or something like that. Like apple or pear or something in the opening here. With with a bubble gum or candy kind of sweetness to it. It's like a fairy floss or a cotton candy smell, like a bubble gummy. 1 million lucky, that's what it is. It smells like 1 million lucky. I could not figure it out. This is, to me, that's what it smells like, 1 million lucky. And the note is plum. I'm trying to figure it out. It was definitely plum with like that 1 million lucky kind of smell to it. Sweet, fruity, yeah, but synthetic at the same time. It's definitely synthetic. It smells like 1 million lucky. I love 1 million lucky, and I like this. I don't understand the hate for this. This is good stuff. I'm very impressed by Scandal. Maybe because I had low expectations for it, but I like it, guys. It's pretty nice. It gives me 1 million lucky smell, and I am a fan of 1 million lucky. Maybe the dry down will change completely. I don't know. I'm gonna check the notes, but 1 million lucky is discontinued, so that could be an alternative to you. If you want something that kind of smells like 1 million lucky that's not discontinued, then you might like this. So the opening is mandarin, and then it's got caramel tonka vetiver. I knew it had a candy smell. I guess caramel is technically a type of candy, and I don't smell vetiver in here. I don't even smell tonka, really. To me, it smells more like cotton candy. It's like a plum and cotton candy smell, like a bubble gum. A bubble gum is probably the best way I could explain it. I like it. It's not a meh. I actually like this, so that's a good thing. Alright, so we'll skip anyway. I've got too many to go through here. Next is Maison Margiela By the Fireplace. By the Fireplace, Maison Margiela. And again, I need to find space on my arm because I'm running out of space. I'm contemplating using a test strip here because I got a bunch of test strips. I might have to pull out a test strip just for this. Open up the test strips here so we can give you a little review. Okay, so I can smell like it already in this, like an alcoholic vanilla, like a bourbon vanilla or something, with a smoky wood. Very smoky. Along the lines of like Encre Noir. So you imagine you get Encre Noir, you add some vanilla in there, then you take out that inkiness, and you make it much more sweeter, like caramel sweetness. Yeah, okay. It's a nicer version of Encre Noir to me. So if you're thinking of buying Encre Noir, I would say go with By the Fireplace instead. You get the same kind of smell without that inkiness, and this is really a lot better than Encre Noir. Smoky, woody, but very sweet. I love that sweetness. That's what makes it better for me. Is that sweet vanilla-y, like a bourbon vanilla, like a vanilla extract that's made with alcohol. You know what? There could even be alcohol in here. There could be like cognac or rum or something. I'm gonna say there's probably alcohol in here, like rum. I'm gonna check the notes. You could even say it's like a jazz club with smoke. They took jazz club and they made it smoky, and that would be like a pretty good comparison. I still prefer jazz club because I think the smoke in here is pretty subjective. You're not going to be able to, it won't be as appealing. It's going to be a bit more subjective with the smoke. Okay, so what we get is vanilla, chestnut, cloves, guaiac wood, juniper, orange blossom, cashmere, Peru balsam. So it probably is because it's on a test strip. I can't smell it that good. I'll have to test it on skin, but you know what? I get a smoky vanilla and guaiac wood. It is a very deep, heavy wood. That's what guaiac wood does. And chestnut. Chestnut, I didn't pick that out when smelling it. Usually I can only smell chestnut on skin. But yeah, you could say it's a little nutty, a little bit nutty. I wouldn't say it's not. I wouldn't argue with that. I'm not sure what the smokiness is coming from though. It's a nice scent, you know what? I ain't mad at that. You know, I don't hate that either. So By the Fireplace, It is a nice fragrance, but it's very overrated for sure. Like, people talk about that a lot, and I don't think it lives up to the hype. I think it's just a better version of like Encre Noir, or maybe a worse version of Jazz Club with the smoke in there. So Jazz Club is still the better choice out of the Maison Margiela fragrances. Okay, I may have to come back and film the rest of these fragrances I haven't tested yet. I'm going to take a break and I'll be back after I wash my hands again, and I'll have some more space for my skin to test them for you. Alright, don't go anywhere, I'll be back. And we're back once again with the last 4 in the box, I'm pretty sure, that I haven't tested yet. So because there's so many fragrances here, I'll just test 4 more, and then I've got like another 15 in here that is going to have to be for like a part 2 of this video or something like that. So I will release part 2, I don't know, sometime soon whenever I get around to doing this review, but for now I'll just test the last 4, okay? The last 4 is Mancera Cedrat Boise Intense, then we got Spice Bomb Infrared, we have Xerjoff 40 Knots, and Carolina Herrera 212 VIP Black. Okay, let's get into this. I think we'll start with Cedrat Boise Intense because it's probably the newest of all of these, and I know you all want new exciting fragrances. Everyone loves Mancera Cedrat Boise. It's kind of been really hyped on the internet lately in the fragrance community. Everyone seems to really like this one. So, Cedrat Boise Intense, but I noticed they put Intense before Cedrat Boise. I don't know why they call it Intense Cedrat Boise and not the Intense at the end. Usually it's like this fragrance and then Intense, like you would say it's like Cedrat Boise Parfum or Cedrat Boise EDP or Cedrat Boise Intense, but instead of kind of going with Intense at the start, which I don't know, it's not a big deal, but it's just they put it at the start for some reason. So let's smell this and see if it's as good as the original Cedrat Boise, because I do actually own the original as well. Well, I have a sample of it and I like the original one as well. Oh, okay. So intense, I don't even think it's as intense as the original. I think the original is more intense, honestly. The original one comes across as more leathery, smoky, and like there's like some ambroxan or something really sharper in the original one that's more intense, ironically. So this is not even as intense as the original, in my opinion. I think the original was better. Well, not better, stronger. I mean, the original was stronger. This is like a softened down version. That's like, you can tell that they've actually tried to balance this one out a little more, because that was some of the complaints I had with the original, were it wasn't as well balanced because it had like a smokiness to it. This smokiness was like overpowering everything, very ashy and smoky, leathery. The original like was more intense. I find this one to be like same DNA. It smells basically the same, but just softer. Like, and by softer, I just mean more balanced out. That the smokiness in here isn't as strong. It might be a batch issue. It could be a batch thing where certain batches smell different. I don't know. But I like this. I am a fan of Cedrat Boise, but I'm not one of those people that are crazy about it, that say like, oh, it's better than Aventus and all this. I've made a video comparing Aventus Mont Blanc Explorer and Cedrat Boise. I don't know if it's worth making another video in the future, just comparing all the Creed clones, but I like it. You know, you're gonna get your wood, leatheriness, the citrus. Some people say it's fruity. I don't think it's fruity, I just think it's sweeter than Aventus. So it's definitely sweeter than Aventus. If you took Aventus and put more vanilla in there, you made it much sweeter, then you get Cedrat Boise. This is almost like a candy version of it in a way. And something I always notice about Mancera is their citrus is kind of cheap smelling. It's a little bit more on the synthetic side. You can tell that citrus isn't like that natural. Not that synthetic is a problem or anything, but if you really want to get into the meat and potatoes of it all, then I would say when you're comparing Creed clones to Creed, quality is kind of the difference there. Creed obviously has the better smelling, higher quality natural ingredients, whereas the clones are generally pretty synthetic like this. But overall, it's a nice scent. I like it, but you know, girls are definitely not so into it as much, unfortunately. I have said it's a very 50-50 thing. Like 50% either like it or 50% don't like it. You will find that's the two people. Like you either have people that love it or hate it. Next would be Xerjoff 40 knots, because I've heard this is probably like Xerjoff's best fragrance or something like that. Let's have a look at this. Xerjoff 40 knots. And I don't know what GTC stands for. So I know what the bottle looks like. I know that the bottles for Xerjoff are generally pretty nice looking bottles. Very small bottles though. I'm pretty sure they have very small bottles, but they look nice. They all kind of match each other. All the bottles, but all their fragrances are matching. So I like that part of what Xerjoff do. And you're basically paying most of the money for the bottle when you buy a Xerjoff fragrance. So let's test this 40 knots out. If you're wondering why I wipe this on my hand after spraying it, well, it gets a little bit of scent on the tip here, and then when I put the lid on like that, then the smell gets trapped inside the lid. And then if I want to smell the fragrance, all I have to do is just take off the lid and smell the lid. And then I'm not wasting juice by spraying it on my skin. All I have to do, if I always want to smell it, I just take the lid off and give it a smell like that. Okay. So that's why I just wipe it on there like that. Yeah, because when you got 2 ml bottles, you have to conserve liquid because they're 2 ml and only get a few sprays out of them. You know, they're expensive. So 40 knots. I want to make a joke here about 40 knots. This is not great. You like that joke? Well, I'm actually being serious because it's not great, okay? It's very musky and old manish. It might just be a very harsh opening, but it smells like very musky. It's definitely not marine or aquatic, but it is like a very old mature smell, like a citrus with a powdery musk with some kind of floral. Maybe it's weird. It's like those musk stick things I used to eat as a kid, but there's something in here that makes it smell a little bit like licorice as well. Yeah, it's got a licorice smell to it. I think that's what it is. It's like a very sweet, sour, oh no. It's like an anise root smell. Like a sarsaparilla kind of, you know, the sarsaparilla drink. It's a bit like that. Well, for once I'm stumped here. I can't figure out what these notes are because it's very muddled. It's a very muddled scent where the notes are kind of stuck and they're not really that easy to identify. Wow, it's not great. I mean, I'm gonna have to look at the notes. I'm so sorry, but this has absolutely got me stumped. The notes are woody, cedar, salt, seawater, and green notes. Wow, that's not very helpful at all. So let's see if we can identify what kind of wood is in here. Nope, I have no clue. I can't even tell what kind of wood it is. It's not clear what type of wood it is. But it says cedar. It does say cedar in the notes, so let's just assume it's cedar because it smells nothing like cedar. But salt? What does salt smell like? I know what salty marine, like the aquatic kind of fragrances smell like. I'm not getting salt in here. Seawater? No, there's absolutely no seawater in here at all. Green? Yeah, let's just say it's a green floral musky, and I don't know, there's got to be some kind of citrusy thing in here, something citrus in there. That's the citrus would be like more on the orangey side. So let's say it's orange, cedar with musk, and I want to say there's licorice in here. even though I'm looking at the notes right now, it doesn't say it, so I was just purely going off my intuition. Musk, cedar, orange, licorice, and some kind of flower that's very, it's quite pungent. Like it's not white floral, it's like a bit more like on the old lady kind of floral side. So not rose, but some kind of floral on the more lady-ish side, the old lady side. So some kind of like floral they use in a lot of old ladies' perfumes. Damn, I can't figure it out. So it's not going to be a very good review for 40 knots just because I can't tell you what exactly I'm smelling. I might have to train my nose for this one a bit more. Sorry, but it's very it's definitely a letdown. I don't like it. So that's a disappointment. Yeah, I'm just going to end the video here because it's before I make the video any worse by keep talking and all that. So yeah, keep an eye out for part 2. Hopefully part 2 is a lot better, and I've already smelled all the other fragrances, so I will be able to at least give you a more accurate description of all the other fragrances in part 2. So stay tuned, it'll be coming out maybe next week when I have time to do the editing and stuff. So yeah, peace out, thanks for watching guys, laters.